Hello, and welcome back to Building Better Relationships in Construction. I'm your host, Alex.
And I'm Sabrina. It's great to be back for episode 10, Creating Space When Clients Go Off the Deep End. Can you believe it, Alex? 10 episodes.
It's flown by, and today we're diving into a topic that, well, it's one every single person in our industry has faced, and it can make or break a project. We're talking about those high-stakes, emotionally charged moments with clients.
Oh yeah, the blow-ups. The moments where everything feels like it's about to go completely off the rails. And to guide us through this, we're once again turning to the fantastic insights from Paul Schwinghammer's book, Building Better Relationships, a guide to enhancing the customer relationship for home builders, remodelers, and construction managers.
That's right. Paul frames this so well. He says that as construction professionals, our job isn't just building homes, it's building relationships, and that skill is tested most when emotions are running high. And what a great name for a home builder! Schwinghammer! He's done it for more than 3 decades and now shares his best training techniques in his groundbreaking book, and which we're sharing with you in this podcast series.
Exactly right. So let's paint the picture. You know the scene. A client storms onto the job site. They're visibly upset. Maybe their face is red. They're pointing, maybe even swearing.
I'm already getting anxious just thinking about it. They're mad about something. It could be the drywall texture, the schedule, an invoice they just got. Honestly, it almost doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly. And Paul makes a great point here. It doesn't matter if their anger is, justified in that moment, or if they're just having a terrible day and taking it out on the project. The reality is they are emotionally overwhelmed. They are out of control.
Right? And our first instinct, our gut reaction, is almost always the wrong one.
To get defensive, to jump in and say, whoa, hold on, that's not how it happened. Or, well, actually, the reason the texture looks like that is because we want to explain. We want to argue our point.
Of course, it feels like a personal attack on our work, on our integrity, so we defend. But when someone is at that emotional peak, that 10 out of 10 level of anger, facts, and explanations are just fuel for the fire.
Precisely. It just escalates everything. They're not in a place to hear logic. They're feeling, not thinking.
So this is where the gold from Paul Schwinghammer's book comes in. He talks about a profoundly simple yet powerful technique, and that is the ability to create space.
Create space. I love that phrasing. It's not about running away or ignoring them. It's intentional. So what does that actually look like on a job site with a client that is yelling at you?
It's about pausing, taking a breath instead of reacting. And this is key, you acknowledge their feeling without necessarily agreeing with their facts. You might say something really calm and empathetic, like, I hear what you're saying, I understand you're upset, and I want to find a solution.
Or even, I can see this situation has you frustrated. I want to make sure I fully understand what's going on. You're validating their emotion. You're not saying they're right. You're just saying, I see that you are feeling this way.
Exactly. That act alone is incredibly disarming. And then comes the creating space part. You follow up with something like, I'm going to step back for a moment, make some calls, and see what our options are. My goal here is to help you resolve this.
That is such a pivotal moment. You haven't dismissed them. You haven't brushed them off. But you also haven't gotten into a screaming match in the middle of a half-finished house. You've essentially placed a buffer, a pause button, between their emotion and your response.
And it works. Schwinghammer explains that it accomplishes 2 critical things at once. First, and most obviously, it de-escalates the moment.
Right? Because you're not giving their anger anything to fight against. You're not becoming a wall for them to punch. By just letting them vent and showing you're listening, their urge to lash out starts to fade. They just need a moment to cool down.
But the second purpose is the one that really matters for the long-term health of the project and your business. And that is, it makes a deposit into what he calls the relationship bank account.
I love that analogy. Even in a moment of conflict, when you demonstrate patience and understanding, You're making a huge deposit. You're showing them that you're committed to helping, not just defending or blaming.
That builds trust. It's a subtle act of restraint, but clients feel it. It lays the groundwork for actually solving the problem later when everyone is calmer.
Which brings us to the next crucial step, because creating space is not about avoidance.
And it's important to remember that anger is almost never truly about the drywall texture or the specific invoice line item they're pointing at. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Not at all. This isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card. The follow-through is everything. If you say you're going to make some calls, you have to actually make the calls.
That is such a key insight. The blow-up is usually about a deeper fear. Fear of being taken advantage of. Fear that their dream home is turning into a nightmare. Fear of losing control of their finances. The drywall concern is just the trigger, not the real cause.
Yes. You have to explore the options for resolution, and most importantly, you have to keep your promise to follow up. Your communication has to stay open and honest.
You could even say, look, I genuinely want to help you with this. I don't think I can fix it standing here right now, but I will look into it and I will get back to you later today. That line alone shows so much good faith.
It really does. The client sees you're committed, that you're not just dismissing their frustration because they were loud. It turns what could have been a relationship-ending fight into a demonstration of your professionalism.
Then, after some time has passed, a few hours, maybe the next morning, when you know the client has had a chance to cool off, you revisit the issue. You go back to them with a clear head, discuss solutions, and actually listen to their input.
And that whole process rebuilds the trust that was shaken during the storm. It's such a sustainable strategy. Over time, if you consistently create space, you're showing your maturity as a professional. You're sending a clear message that you value the client's feelings, not just the project's bottom line.
It builds a foundation of trust that's so deep, so resilient, that it can withstand the inevitable bumps in the road that happen on every single project. No project is perfect, and emotional reactions are going to happen.
So, to wrap up this idea from the book, creating space when clients get emotional is probably one of the most effective tools you have. By calmly acknowledging their feelings, avoiding that immediate defensiveness, and giving them room. You de-escalate, you build trust, and you turn a potential disaster into a deposit in that relationship bank account.
When clients see you respond not with frustration, but with patience and empathy, they see you as a trusted partner. And that's what gets you loyalty, positive word of mouth, and a reputation as a builder who leads with integrity and compassion.
It's such a powerful concept, and it's just one of many in his book. Remember, you can purchase your copy of the groundbreaking book, Building Better Relationships, a guide to enhancing the customer experience for home builders, remodelers, and construction managers by author Paul Schwinghammer on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in multiple formats.
Absolutely. We highly recommend it. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Building Better Relationships in Construction.
Join us next time as we explore another fantastic concept from the book, Apologizing for Withdrawals, a key to maintaining trust.
Until then, build well, everyone.